So I think we'll back it up a little bit further.
Okay.
Now you're aware of when James Crumbley was charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Yes.
Okay, when was that?
He was charged with involuntary manslaughter. I believe it was around noon on December 3rd.
Okay, so the shooting was Tuesday, November 30th, and there's Wednesday, December 1st, Thursday the 2nd, and Friday the 3rd.
That's correct.
Okay. Now tell us, sir, what happens when someone is charged with a felony in Michigan?
So when the prosecutor authorizes a charge, gives it to the officer in charge, I take it before a judge, and I swear to the facts of the case. It's called a swear to. And then the judge determines whether or not the information held within that complaint and warrant is sufficient to support a charge.
Okay, is that public or is that done in private?
That's all public.
And did you do that in this particular case?
I did.
Okay, you personally.
I did.
And was there also swear to of the defendant's son?
Yes,
Okay, that would have been though Wednesday, December the 1st, 2021?
that is correct.
Okay, was that likewise public?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And when I say public, I mean open to the public.
There were, yes, open to the public and media present.
Okay. Was James Crumbley there for that, for his son's swear to?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Judge, the jury's going to get an instruction regarding 4.4. A lot of the evidence is regarding the timeline of where they were from November the 30th to December the 4th in the early morning.
I think where they were and the knowledge they had is relevant, so I'm not allowed.
Thank you, Judge. Sir, Wednesday, December the 1st, there was a swear to of the defendant's son?
That's correct.
Okay, and was James Crumbley there for that?
He was not in person, no.
Okay. And he was on Zoom?
He was on a Zoom from his what appeared to be his vehicle.
Okay, thank you. Now, we've already heard from Dave Hendrick, who was, at the time, the sergeant in charge of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office Fugitive Apprehension Team. Part of your role as detective lieutenant, would that be supervising the Fugitive Apprehension Team?
Yes.
Okay. So, did you assign him with his task of locating James and Jennifer Crumbley on Thursday, December the 2nd?
I did.
Okay, and tell me about that, please.
So, as I stated earlier, the officer in charge of cases presents information basically to make it clear to a prosecuting attorney. The prosecuting attorney, in discussions with the officer in charge, determines what, if any, charges are going to come from it. We, at the time the shooter was charged, volumes of information was going into the prosecutor's office, and there was discussions on December the 2nd about the possibility of charging the shooter's parents with involuntary manslaughter.
Okay, is that why you made that call to Sergeant Hendrick, or retired Sergeant Hendrick?
Yeah, what we knew at the time, the only thing that I knew at the time, and again, there was a lot of irons in the fire, the only thing I knew at the time is they weren't at their residence. They weren't actively staying at their residence. So I thought it was important that we try to locate them.
Okay. So now going back to Exhibit 361 on the screen here, you had mentioned that you had assigned Lieutenant Marsban with a search warrant of the defendant's home at 112 East in Oxford.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And so that occurred on Tuesday, November the 30th, 2021?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you made aware that their phones were seized as part of that search warrant?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And all right. We talked a little bit about track phone or burner phone, how they're referred to interchangeably. Were you made aware, did you learn that the defendant and his wife purchased those phones?
I was,
Okay.
yes.
And so what's in Exhibit 361 here?
So this is a receipt from the Walmart in Lapeer, Michigan, for the purchase of the track phones.
Okay, so just for a timeline, this is at November 30th, 21 at 8:01 p.m.?
That's correct.
Okay. This is Exhibit 362. What are we looking at here?
This is a receipt for the Holiday Inn Express. So the shooting was on the 30th. They checked in on the 30th, and they departed on the next day.
Okay. And do you recall where this Holiday Inn Express was located?
Yes, that's the Holiday Express in Lapeer.
Now, they checked out on Wednesday, December the 1st. Did you learn where they stayed that day, that evening?
I did.
Okay, this is Exhibit 363. 5. What is this?
This is a receipt for the extended stay, check-in date for in Auburn Hills. The check-in date is December 1st, and the checkout date was December 3rd.
So December 1st is the Wednesday, the 3rd is the Friday. Is this the location, we heard from retired Sergeant Hendrick about a vehicle being abandoned. Is this the location he's referring to?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's in this 366. What do we have here?
This is the vehicle we come to learn to be the defendant's vehicle.
You said they checked out on Friday, December the 3rd?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell us, please, the relative location from this particular hotel to the closest police department.
The Auburn Hills Police Department from that location is basically across the street. It's not far.
Now, regarding Exhibit 361, just so we're clear, it's your understanding that they were actually told to purchase these phones, is that correct?
That is correct. So,
Okay.
Detective Sergeant Bryan, who testified earlier, he had advised them, or maybe it was Lieutenant Marsban, I can't recall, but said, "Hey, look, we're taking your phones. At this point, it's evidence, and which is common. And then we often advise them, so you have a means of communication, because people don't typically have house phones anymore. We just automatically tell them usually to just pick up a couple of track phones."
Okay. And were they permitted to obtain contact information from their phones before they were seized?
Yes, they were.
Okay. Now, specifically on Thursday, December the 2nd, 2021, did you or members of your team uncover evidence that James and Jennifer Crumbley obtained cash through withdrawals?
That's correct.
Okay, this is Exhibit 367. What are we looking at here?
This is a withdrawal from Flagstar on December 2nd for the amount of $2,000.
Okay. Now, Mr. Rogowski, who testified about the burner phones, also mentioned replacement phones, so new phones with the old numbers ported to them. Did you learn when James and Jennifer Crumbley purchased those?
I did.
This is Exhibit 368. What are we looking at here?
This is a T-Mobile in Owasso, Michigan, and this is the receipt on December 2nd at 11 a.m., 11:17 a.m., and this is where they purchased new phones with their original phone numbers on them.
Okay, so this is Thursday, December 2nd. At this point, they were staying at that hotel in Auburn Hills next to the police station, and this was purchased in Owasso, Michigan?
That is correct.
Do you know the relative distance between the two locations?
It's about an hour's drive per Google Maps.
Okay, each direction?
Yes, sorry.
So we saw the record that indicated they checked out of that Auburn Hills hotel on Friday, December 3rd. Did you uncover evidence that they had obtained more cash that day?
Yes, I did.
This is Exhibit 367. What are we looking at here?
This is a withdrawal from Flagstar on December 3rd for the amount of $4,000.
Was evidence uncovered to suggest that they had transferred money from their son's account?
Yes.
All right, this is Exhibit 370. What is this?
This is a Flagstar withdrawal from a Simply Kids Savings. There's two withdrawals. There's 1129,
In the amount of what?
$292, and then
Okay.
there's a second withdrawal on the 30th the following day of $3,000.
Okay, what was the balance left in this Simply Kids savings account?
The remaining balance was 99 cents.
Okay, and that was the day of the shooting, the 30th?
The 30th, yes, sir.
Do you know where the defendant and his wife went after they left the Auburn Hills hotel?
Yes, once they left the Auburn Hills Hotel, they went to the address in Detroit on Bellevue.
Okay, and that's, we've heard testimony from Mr. Kirtley and the Detroit police officers, 1111 Bellevue in Detroit?
1111 Bellevue, correct.
Okay. I'm going to show you portions of surveillance video. We saw some of this earlier. This is different clips.